ツマンおじ今日のニュースを読みます。CNBC FDA approved the first GLP-1 pill for obesity from the Wegovy maker Novo Nordisk. Key point: the FDA has approved the first ever GLP-1 pill for Wegovy maker Novo Nordisk. Novo Nordisk said the starting dose of 1.5 milligrams will be available in early January in pharmacies or via a select telehealth providers with a savings offer for $149 per month. The approval gives Novo Nordisk a head start over cheap rival Eli Lilly, which was racing to launch its own obesity pill. The U.S. Food and Drug Administration on Monday approved the first ever GLP-1 pill for obesity from the Wegovy maker Novo Nordisk, a landmark decision the health experts said could open up treatment access to more patients. Novo Nordisk said it expected to launch the pill in early 2026. The Danish drug maker said starting in early January, the starting dose of 1.5 milligrams will be available in pharmacy and via select telehealth providers with a savings offer for $149 per month. That's the same price the cash paying patient can access the starting dose of the pill on President Donald Trump's direct-to-consumer website, Donald RX. Under a deal Novo Nordisk struck with his administration last month. Trump's side also launched January. Novo Nordisk did not say how much higher doses of drug would cost, but said additional information on coverage and savings options for eligible patients will be available at that time as well. Shares of Novo Nordisk gained roughly 10% in extended trading Monday. The FDA approval also cleared the pill for use to reduce the risk of major cardiovascular events such as death, heart attack, or stroke in adults with obesity and established cardiovascular disease, according to Novo Nordisk. That consistent with the approval label of the company's blockbuster weight loss drug Wegovy, which shares the same active ingredient as semaglutide. What we've learned through the years of research is that having an oral option really kind of opens up, activates, and motivates the different segments to seek treatment. David Moore, Novo Nordisk Executive Vice President of U.S. Operations, told CNBC ahead of the approval. To have that conversation with their doctor to see if this is something that might be right for them. That's what we are excited about. To be able to give people an option that makes sure they have access and ease of access like we have been doing with our injection, he continued. The move gives Novo Nordisk a head start over its cheap rival, Eli Lilly, which is currently the dominant player in the market and is racing to launch its own obesity pill. Pills are the next battleground for the two drug makers, which established the booming GLP-1 space that some analysis said could be worth roughly $100 billion by the 2030s. Wall Street thinks There's plenty of room for pill in the market, with Goldman Sachs analysis saying in August. The pill could capture 24% shares, or around 22 billion of the 2020's global weight loss drug market. In a note Monday, BMO Capital Market Analysis Evan Seigerman said the approval of Novo Nordisk's pill gives the companies a much-needed win in light of recent challenges maintaining incretin market share dominance. Incretins refer to a treatment that mimic gut hormones such as GLP-1. Eli Lilly earlier this year gained the majority share of the market thanks to its blockbuster obesity injection, Zepbound, which was shown to be effective than Novo Nordisk's Wegovy. Novo's will likely benefit from first mover advantage, capturing patients with preference for convenience and comfort provided by an oral dosing regimen, Seigerman said. But he also noted the market is rapidly evolving with a competitive asset in development and an approval for Eli Lilly's pill, orforglipron, just around the corner. The approval is based on a phase 3 trial that followed more than 300 adults with obesity but not diabetes. In this study, a 25 mg dose of Novo Nordisk oral semaglutide helped the patients lose up to 16.6% of their weight on average after 64 weeks, according to results from the trial. The trial presented at a medical conference in 2024. That weight loss was 13.6% when the company analyzed all the patients regardless of whether they stopped the drug. The pill appears to be slightly more effective than an experimental oral drug from the Eli Lilly, which is still waiting for FDA approval. But unlike Novo Nordisk's pill, Eli Lilly's treatment is not a peptide medication. That means it is absorbed more easily by the body and does not require dietary restrictions. People who take a Novo Nordisk pill have to wait 30 minutes before eating or drinking each day. Moore said the prices of the pill get cost closer to what some people are paying for an approved compounded version of branded GLP-1s, some of which are still being illegally mass marketed and sold in the US. Patients flock to the cheaper copycat when the Ozempic and Wegovy were in short supply over the last 2 years due to skyrocketing demand, or if they didn't have insurance coverage for the costly treatment. During FDA declared shortage, pharmacists can legally make a compounded version of brand name medication. But the agent earlier this year determined that the shortage of semaglutide is over, barring the practice in many cases. It continued to be alarming and disturbing for us, Moore told CNBC, referring to illegitimate ingredients that are imported into the US illegally and used by some compounding pharmacists to create a copycat version of branded GLP-1s. 以上です。